Hi there. A few years after Shawnigan opened its doors and welcomed its first crew of students, another important Canadian event took place. The mainline Protestant churches across the country came together at the time to form the United Church of Canada, which is now the largest Protestant denomination in the country. The reason I mention it is because at the time, one of the first ministers, one of the first revs of the United Church, wrote a hymn to celebrate the inauguration of the new body. And he took as his text the words of the Jewish prophet Isaiah, "A voice cries in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord." Good words for a new church heading into an unknown future with nothing but faith and hope. So, of course, the hymn, "There's a Voice in the Wilderness," is one of the truly Canadian hymns. And when it was chosen back in the midst of time as the official school hymn for Shawnigan, perhaps it was in part because of its Canadianness. And there are other reasons, of course, as well. The idea of a voice in the wilderness, that phrase we hear sometimes, really signifies a person or group of people who have a very important message, but one that is particularly challenging and difficult for people to hear. So Shawnigan has always prided itself, I think, on confronting and struggling with and dealing with and exploring and honoring difficult truths. And at the center of those difficult truths, I think, is the one that says we all have a kind of an obligation and a capacity to make positive differences in the world. And we know that we're able to do that because we know how to work as a community, work with other people, and how, as a community, to confront whatever barriers or difficulties that life might throw at us. We also know that whenever we do anything meaningful, whenever we try to live a meaningful life, we make mistakes. And another truth I think that is so important to us is that mistakes aren't bad. Mistakes are what help us to learn. But the only way that we can learn is when we take full and complete responsibility for our mistakes, get the message that's being taught, and then move on wiser and abler. So that combination of commitment to community and to personal responsibility is very key and very central to what Shawnigan's all about. And you may say, well, that's pretty simple. But if you think for a moment of the culture that we live in, where the dominant kind of message that we hear all the time is, it wasn't my fault, I'm not responsible, it was somebody else. When we hear those kind of ideas echoed throughout the internet, throughout the airwaves, then we can begin to realize how important personal responsibility and community coming together can really be, and how Shawnigan really has been a voice in the wilderness. So the voice in the Shawnigan wilderness, of course, is one that has begun to reverberate all around the globe as our students and some staff, past staff, have moved around the globe. Now we have the Shawnigan community covering the entire earth. So the voice in the wilderness that is Shawnigan's particular voice is one that's everywhere now. And so as we, as a Shawnigan community, move into an uncertain future, we do so, like the United Church, with nothing really but faith and hope. And we do so as a community that is scattered across the world, but bound together by our common affection for one another and in our pride for our life together. Enjoy the rest of chapel. Go with God's blessing.
There's a voice in the wilderness crying, a call from the ways untrod, preparing the desert a highway for our God. to the heights and sing, proclaim to a desolate people the coming of their King. Like the flowers of the field they perish, the works of men decay. The power and pomp of nations shall pass like a dream away. But the word of our God endureth, the arm of the Lord is strong. He stands in the midst of nations, and he will right the wrong. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd, and fold the lambs to his breast. In pastures of peace he'll lead them, and give to the weary rest. There's a voice in the wilderness crying, a call from the ways untrod. Prepare in the desert a highway for our God. The valley shall be exalted, the lofty hills brought low. Make straight all the crooked places where the Lord our God may go. Make straight all the crooked places where the Lord our God may go.
Thanks, Shawnigan.
Love you, Shawnigan.